So gateway project. So we have generated the runtime objects for gateway project. Now let's go and see the DPC class and furthermore. SCGW, going into SCGW. So this is not the project. Yeah, same one.
Suresh, your video is on.
Okay. So everybody know this ABAP structure from where we have picked this up. So we are doing it a bit different. So we have selected the SQL view of a CDS view. So we have selected the limited number of fields from CDSU, and we have created a structure, and on top of it, we have created a entity set. So obviously the OData service endpoint, when I say endpoint, the data fetching, we have to specify a specific URI, Unified Resource Identifier. So that is going to be obviously the entity set. So when we look into the OData service point of view. So now the implementation, where does the implementation goes means we do implement our business logic in our DPC class, DPC EXT class, so extension class, and how this DPC EXT class will look like. So now let's get into this DPC EXT class. Let me open in SE24. So go into 24 and display the class. You see there are number of interfaces has been implemented into this one. So these are the number of interfaces to support the gateway framework, whatever. So we will be looking few of the interfaces when we move forward. So for now, if we look at these methods, in these methods, if you go further down without any related to any interface, we will see some other methods created apart from the interfaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you see sales order set, all these methods are preceded with the sales order set, which is something looking like our entity set over here. So if you see here, this is the entity set we have created. The methods are created, 5 methods are created preceded with that entity set. So, and after that, after our entity set name, there are different terminologies here: create entity, delete entity, get entity, get entity set, update entity. Okay, do you see all these ones? So these are the operations, whatever we are saying we can achieve using OData service. They are CRUDQ, CRUDQ operations. So C means create, R means read. Read is going to be the get entity here, and um, update here we see update here. D means delete entity here, and the only one left over is Q, query. So is going to be the get entity set is going to be the query. So sometimes we will be using this get entity set for get as well. The HTTP protocols for each and one is create entity is going to be the post, delete entity is going to be delete HTTP call, get entity is going to be get HTTP protocol, get entity set is again get protocol, get HTTP protocol, and update entity is going to be put, merge, or patch. So merge will be the default HTTP protocol, what uh, what we have seen in our gateway client as well, slash IWFND slash GW underscore CLIENT client, gateway client. So if you see here, these are the HTTP protocols what we are talking about right now. And so this is in terms of the DPC EXT class. And there is another way of looking at the implementation of this entity set. In our gateway project, if you come to service implementation over here, if you expand this service implementation, we will see the entity sets whatever we have created in our project. So the implementation is specific to entity set, so that we can understand from generation of the class methods as well. And in the project as well, we will have all these implementation methods specified here as well. So if you see, create, delete, get entity is read, get entity set is a query, update protocols. So if we double click on any one of these implementations, let's see what happens. So this way, so these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 implementation methods will be displayed in under the project service implementation for each and every entity set. For example, if we create multiple entity sets here, so likewise multiple entity sets will be displayed listed down under the service implementation, and each and every entity set will have all these options displayed for our ease. And if we double click on this, any one of the method or the implementation um, protocol here, so it displays for us what exactly the implementation method class. So if you see here, this is the class and this is the method where we need to look at it. Create entity for delete protocol. Delete protocol, it's going to be the delete. Delete protocol is going to be delete entity, get entity, read operation, get entity set, query, and is going to be get, get entity set, and update is going to be update entity. So now this clears off the confusion in our mind that what kind of operation we are going to implement on our OData service. So as we discussed on this particular OData service, as a step one, what we are going to do, we are going to do, we are going to get all the list of sales orders available in the system. So that means it's going to be a get call on query. So get entity set. So the difference between this get entity and get entity set is pretty simple. So get entity, it's like projecting to a specific entry. So if we want details about a specific sales order, then we will be implementing this get entity method. Whereas we will have the sales order in hand. But in terms of get entity set point of view, we will not need any of the information. It it just to implement or read the list of sales orders and return it back. So that means the return for this get entity set will be a table, a list of entries, and but whereas in GetEntity, the result will be single entry out of it. Okay, so this applies in our case as we are dealing with sales orders. So this will be requiring sales order number. So if you are dealing with any material information, the get entity needs the material number as an input to return the material details. And similarly here, we will not need any information here, material information. You will be returning all the information, all the materials available in the system. Okay, so now what method we are going to implement? So we are going to implement GetEntitySet method in this case. So let me go here to implement the method GetEntitySet. Let me first switch into my change mode. Sorry, that's not the one. Let me go into change mode. Yes, and these are all the methods generated by its um, parent class. These are, if you see, they're all protected. So if you go to properties, the DPC class will be the super class for DPC EXT. And if you want to go further and know further details, you can go into the DPC class and see the methods, what methods it has. So this has all these list of methods. So again, these methods are generated here. And don't get confused here. Let's not go into that direction. Anyway, we will be digging further on this topic. So let's go ahead and implement this GetEntitySet method. So here I have sales order set, GetEntitySet. So here you see the little button here. It's a redefinition method. So we are not creating a new method. We are just redefining with our own implementation here. So if you want to see what implementation already exists in this method, you can straight away double click on this one, and you can see there will be not implemented uh, exceptions will be raising here. So when we were trying to execute this request with the sales order set entity set, let me go and pick up this sales order entity set and execute this one. So we will get method not implemented exception here. So method not implemented. The same exception, if you see here, the same exception is being raised from here as the method is not implemented. So now what we are going to do, we just place the cursor on this GetEntitySet method and go here at the rightmost second button, redefine. Redefine this method. It will just generate the redefinition for this method. So we will not need this generated one at the moment, but at some point we need it. I will tell you when we need it. So for now, I'll be removing this logic and just activating it. I'm just trying to activate it. Okay, I'm fine. Just go ahead and activate all of them. And now, so we don't have any business logic here right now. So let me go to gateway client and try to execute it, what it returns. So just look at this exception right now, method not implemented. But we have redefined the method, but we have not written any business logic at the moment. So let's go ahead and execute it. Now it's 200. Okay, but the result is empty. So it's not returning any data. So that means, so here there is no data available in this one, but still it is returning 200 error success code for us, HTTP status code. So HTTP status codes, again, whatever we see 200 series, they all success, and 400 or 500 series, they all error codes. 400 means 4 series, whatever we see 4 series, they all not exist, indication of not exist. and 500 series, there is some error in the server. It could be a runtime exception or runtime termination of the program, whatever it is. So they are all 500 series, 5 series HTTP status codes. So always we would like to see the two series HTTP status codes. So we will be seeing 200 for read success, 201 for create success, 204 for update success, 204 again for delete success. So we will see all those codes, don't worry. So if when we see 200, yes, that's okay. And status reason, it's okay. And now let's implement the code to return all the list of sales orders. So as we are using the CDSU, let me open the CDSU here. Uh, Let me open I underscore, if you remember it. Okay. So let me enter my, yep, I underscore sales order is the one I think I'm using. Let me pick up this I underscore sales order CDS view. Yes, this is just to confirm the name of the CDSU. I can straight away use this CDSU in my ABAP code. I don't need to do anything else. So let me copy this one and go into here. Select star from CDSU into corresponding fields of table. If you see the signature of this one, we will have something ET entity set. So let me copy that one here, ET entity set. Done. Sorry, go on mute, please. So I'm just activating it. So my method is activated at the moment. So now let me go to gateway client and let's execute this one. So if you see, I have got some response. So still it is 200, which is I'm happy at the moment for seeing the 200 success code. And I do see some data coming across on this one. So this is atom or XML format at the moment. If I want to see this in JSON format, I just go ahead into the request URI place wherever I have. So here the options, whatever we discussed yesterday, entity sets and add URI option. So this time as an option, URI option, I'm going to do, I don't want to choose another entity set. I want to choose the same, keep the same entity set, and I want to apply some URI operation or option. So now let me select this format JSON. So I want to select this JSON format. Okay, I have selected JSON format and send the request to gateway again. So if you see here, it has come up with the information in JSON format, which is very easily understandable. And if you see here results, it has prepared an array. It's a table of entries and a collection of objects inside it. Okay, so this this information has been uh, given by our business logic implementation here. So it's a straightforward select into uh, projection into the CDS view, and which directly populating the data into the exporting parameter of the gateway builder. Okay, and here there is some additional information available for us. If you see, so actually the consumer, what consumer will understand from this one, if you see the URI ID, and type here, these three will play a major role if some third-party application is using the metadata of it. So ID, the unique ID for this object. Okay. So if someone has idea of HTML, or okay, let's forget about HTML. Whenever we are creating, whether in BW or ECC, a program, the variable, whatever has been declared already, we will not be able to declare the same variable again in the same program. Okay. So, but we will be using that unique variable across the program based on its visibility. So here as well, as it is called as a payload in OData terminology. It's a written payload. So in this payload, we will have unique ID to represent it's a specific object in the payload. So if you see, this is the unique ID for it. And URI, it's again the unique path in the system to fetch the details. So this is the URI will be used to get further information about this sales order 15. So here, if you clearly observe why we have only 15. So that is based on the key fields what we define in our OData project. So whatever the key field here we have declared, this sales document number is going to be the projection URI only unique path to get the sales order details. So if user is on the master page and displaying all the details, and when user clicks on this particular sales order, if we want to display the details of this sales order specifically, then again there will be a call coming from consumer using this URI, using this path. So we will be implementing this one. So if we use this path, the call will be, so if you see here, we are just projecting to a specific entity here. A specific entity is going to be get entity, not the get entity set. So it will be get entity. We will need to implement the get entity method in this case. So if we have any multiple, yes, please.
Yeah, and when we say this, each record is identified unique, that is technically depending on the key defined the entity type, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it is our responsibility to ensure we ensure the result set, whatever we are sending, is unique based on the key fields. Okay. So if we define material and the plant combination, for example, so a material can be extended to multiple plants. So in this case, material and plant, these two are going to be the key fields, not only the material. Okay, so in this same example, we are going to extend our OData project to get the sales order line items as well. So in that case, we will be adding two, two key fields. One is sales order number and another one is sales order item. So that makes the unique combination and unique path, unique URI to project into this one. And the next one, if you see here, type. So this type is same type whatever we have created to let the OData framework know that okay, this entity set is built based on this type. So what happens uh, telling this telling this type, the application whatever is being built, so that application will look into the metadata of this particular OData service and looks for this type, where this type is and what this type, and they can straight away adapt to that type, and they can do these information map to map into their framework easily. So if we look at the metadata as we are on this topic, let me go here and add URI option and select the metadata and execute. So if you see the metadata, we will see the type here, sales orders type. So if we have multiple entity types here, so the specification of that particular type in a result will help identifying what type it is, and there will be some parsers by consumers where they can easily um, supply the payload and metadata, and they will be easily mapped into the required structure for them. For UI5 applications, we definitely not need to do such kind of mappings, whereas we are working on native framework for our OData, OData and UI5 on the name on the same. Okay, so here if you see, there are multiple things need to know when we use the entity set. It's not going to be this pretty straightforward approach when we um, implement OData service. So according to the business requirements, we might be needing to um, go into multiple tables, multiple iterations, loops, and things we might need to write. And finally, our goal is going to be fill up this entity set table to return back to the consumer as a response. Okay, so now we have some other operations available on this. Add your, sorry, don't have that one here. Okay, anyway. So here if you see skip and top available here. So this is called the paging concept in terms of OData. So if there are 1 million sales orders in the system, it is a bad practice to return all 1 million sales orders and uh, back to the consumer, where the OData is pretty much can be used anywhere using the internet. It can be any device. For example, mobile device or tablet or whatever it is. Okay, then if we are returning 1 million records to the mobile device, obviously it's a performance issue based on the device memory or RAM, because that is the client, okay, having less memory. So to tackle that one, the paging is used to limit the number of records being sent out to the consumer. But if you clearly notice whenever we are using our mobile for any of the application, or it could be online shopping as well, as long as we scroll, then the items will be loading up. So that means only the visible items, whatever we see, whether it is 5 or 4 items, they are the ones considered as one page. So that control will be specified by the framework consumer. So, but instead, in the form of skip and top, these two parameters will be coming in um, our URI operations place. So let me add this top URI. So this top means give me top 2 records. I don't want anything. Okay. So in this top 2, let me execute. We what happens at this moment for us. So if you see here, we have received still all the records. See, okay. So because we have not implemented our paging in our OData entity set implementation. Okay, so here we must need to consider the paging. So if you see in the signature, we see is paging as a input parameter here. So in is paging parameter, so these two parameters will be inputted into our OData service. So before that, let me tell you how you can debug this method using Gateway Client. So because Gateway Client is our testing platform as we are using here. So once we execute this request, how we see our debugger trigger here. So just place the cursor here, and if you see our debuggers here, so the session breakpoint and external breakpoint. Okay, so always do remember that whenever we are dealing with OData services, we do need to insert external breakpoints. Okay, the session breakpoints are not going to work because the request is coming from gateway server. As we are working on the embedded gateway environment, the embedded deployment of gateway, still it is considered as different layer on the same box. We must need to put the external breakpoint. So same thing needs to be done if we are running an application, UI5 application, and if we need to trigger the breakpoint, again it is same. So put the external breakpoint here and run your Fury application, and you will see debugger started in the backend. And one more thing here, need to remember that so the user, whoever running this request, and the debugging in the backend, the user ID must be same. Okay, if you want to debug any other users sessions or something, then you must need to go into debugging settings, and you need to change or put the respective user ID here. If I want to debug the session of Tara 2, I would need to put Tara 2 here and then click OK. And in this case, Tara 2 user must have the debugging authorization, not you. Okay, so these are all the same principles if we already know working on ABAP. So these are all the same principles apply, but external inserting the external breakpoint is the must thing if we are working on OData services. So now let me execute my request here from gateway. I see the debugger is starting. I see some loading. Yep, there you go. Come on. I can't see my source code here. Where is that? Nope, I can't see my source code. Maybe theming or some other issue. That's fine. So if I click on this locals here, I see all the signature parameters here. So whatever the parameters I have given in the URI. So you see IS paging has number 2, top 2, and skip is 0. So this is again a simple operation which we should be doing on this. Uh, the implementation is going to be a simple one. Come on. Nope, not sure what the reason. Okay, let me execute this one. I came out of it, and let me change my theme. Maybe that causing issue. So let me go back to Verbo theme. That's fine. Let me exit. close this one and open SAP logon. If you don't see SAP logon on your desktop, just search for it. It is already installed. Okay, so SE24. Let me go to this one. So to filter out the uh, uh, inherited methods, just click on this filter. We see only our implemented methods. Let me remove and reinsert, and let me open my gateway GW underscore client, and okay, that's fine. Let me debug this one. Yes, this looks good. So here we see the parameters as we have seen. So IS paging has that information, and using that information, we will just implement in our code. So let me go ahead and implement. So here we know we can write up to IES paging. If you uh, press Control and space, we get the suggestions. If there is a variable or any parameter with that name, and hyphen and control space, we get the suggestion. Then take top rows up to these many rows. Okay, and we can still write skip um, offset. Yeah, I think yes. Let's see. First, it returns. What is it? Okay, yes, I need to apply this 7.4 syntax. Good, fine. So now let us go here, and I'm applying the JSON as well. Format equal to JSON. So here, if we see into our entity set, we see only two entries coming in. So let me execute. So now here you go. So we have got only two entries as an output. Okay. So likewise, we have to control all kinds of URI operations, whatever available on OData v2 version. So here we see only few of them, but many of the URI operations are not available here. For example, dollar filter, dollar sort. So these are all again the filtering criteria available on OData v2 version. So okay, as I know, I'm saying that, so these are all available. But how do you go ahead and look at those available URI operations? So it's pretty simple that you go to uh, odata.org. So this is the website which has all those op operations, URI operations. So we can straight away go ahead and look for the versions. Let me um, versions, versions. The resources, getting started. Is the V2? No, the standard. OData version 4.0, and here you see OData older versions, OData 2.0. So if you click on this 2.0 we will see whatever the operations all available on this particular one. So if it is a collection, what is meant by collection, and primitive data types, whatever the data types we see there, EDM types, they all are listed here. Okay, they all adapted by SAP to develop OData services. And if I go back and terminology, URI conventions. So URI conventions is the one which I'm just mentioning just now. If you see whatever the navigation property or what some terminology here, you don't need to worry. Come on, service operations, query string operations. If you are doing query operations in the URL itself, if you see uh, order by. So order by, how we can use the order by. So dollar order by equal to the field name. Order by equal to a field name. If we want a specific order of the entries, then the ascending ASC. And order by with the two fields. If we want to mention multiple fields, rating, category. So we will learn what is the slash and etc. So slash name, descending order, and top system query operation. So we have seen what this top is right now. So give me the top five entries. So we can apply multiple operations as well. So give me top 5 entries after sorting by sales order number. Okay. So the query operation skip. So they skip first 5 entries and give me next 5 entries. Okay. If you see here, skip two, okay, skip first 2 and give me uh, remaining entries. But this one means skip first 2 entries and give me next top 2 entries. So for all these operations, if you see here again, filter. So the filter operations is going to be this one. So filter, in our point of view, it's going to be a range table. So we will be giving those filter conditions in the URI itself. So when I mention URI, it's going to be this part, the URL part. So in the URI, we will be mentioning $filter. So top 2. So for example, if I want to mention some filter created by user is USD, and let me go to CDSU and execute this CDSU and see how I have the entries. Okay, that's fine. So here I can pick up some of the entries for my filtration criteria. So here sales order type is TA. Okay, do you see sales order type here? Sales order type OR. You see OR, is there OR? So add filter criteria, sales order type OR. We don't have OR sales order types. Then how this is coming? Sales order. Sold to party. Did we add this? Processing type. Processing type is blank and OR. Okay, so there is a conversion exit for this one. So it is converting the TA to OR and etc. That's fine. And if we want to see created by user S21D2. If we want to apply filter on this one, let's apply filter on this one, created by user. We have created by user in our structure as well. If you see created by user, right now it is picking up some Mahesh. So Mahesh, yes, these two entries are being picked up at the moment, but we will mention filter uh, with the and so dollar filter equal to, then what is the field name? created by user space eq equal to, how this eq is coming, I I have knew from this one. Okay, logical operator EQ. So whenever I'm applying this dollar filter, so I would be applying these conditional logical operators. So I knew from there EQ equal to, and I put my value here. So and again and. So these are all the parameters. If you see a question mark started here, after the question mark, everything is considered as a parameter. So now I'm applying this filter. So let me go ahead and execute. So I got into the debugging. Let me see at the parameters. If you go to locals, so these are all the input parameters. So let me filter string. So here we have got the filter string as well, but filter select options. So if you see this parameter over here, IT filter select options. So if we get into it, so we have the field name and its values. So if I click on this one, so this is what it is. Okay, so we can straight away go ahead and use this um, range table in our code. So we have to implement everything manually. If we are working on gateway OData service, code-based gateway OData service. Okay, so let me go ahead and implement the filter for now for us. Go ahead to the implementation, and so data range table lt, what is that, users created user type range of, we can say ER name. So I will need to assign this range table, what is coming from my where is that, filter select options. Okay, let me copy this filter select options, and now put into my LT created user equal to value where, what is the field name inside this one, property. Yeah, so property equal to created user.
by user, right?
Created by user, I think. Yeah. Created by user. That's correct. So we can take reference from our payload as well. This is the exact name. Created by user, and I think there is another table inside. Where is this one? And, yeah, nope. It's one table and there is another table. Okay, I can't go in this approach. So now I think we can go in this approach. Case. So this is required, and property, case property. So we may have multiple filter properties as well. That's why I'm just writing like this. So case when, if it is created by user, then come here and loop this one. Sorry, ls user, and select options. So now we do not need this one. We have already specified it. Okay, so I'm just removing this one, and I will just go ahead and copy these values as it is. Done. And now let me comment this one. We don't need this one right now. So LT created user, I'll just go ahead and substitute in my where class. Created by user in this range table. So as I'm using 7.4 strict mode, let me implement that one here. So let's see. What is this? A specified. Okay. So as this is an entry, we just need to. So now we have implemented filter. So this filter works fine for us now. So let me go ahead and execute it. So if you see the entries created by this user, whatever we have given in our filter has been filtered out and 2 entries has came as a result. And even if we want to remove this top 2, we can do that. So there is no top. Let's execute and see the results. So we have got all the where is this one? Filter S21D2, execute. Come on. Okay, that's interesting. Let me see here. I think we have got only 2 entries for that user. So that's the reason even after removing our filter created by user, so we have got only 2 entries in the database, 10 and 11 sales orders. So sales order number 10 and 11, we have got only these 2. So if I want to change this user to this one maybe, or user 5, let me pick up user 5 and let me substitute here. So user 5 and execute. So now you see we have got the number of records, and even now we can apply another URI operation top 2. And so the most cases what the mistake we will be doing is we might be forgetting to give this question mark or this ampersand between the parameters. So please mind this one. So that will be causing issues. It will be returning always the 400 error. So bad request. So if you see now we have more entries, but we restricted this to only 2 entries. Okay. So here we are seeing how we will implement the filter filters according to the OData URI operations. So similarly, we will be implementing the order by as well. So order by, again we have here order IT order parameter here. So we will just go ahead and see what the parameters here, the property and the order. Okay, so we will get this property and its order. And if you look at, so if you feel to ignore all these parameters, then there is another way as well. So let me go from the beginning, the parameters IT entity name. So this entity name, let's put the breakpoint and we'll explain the same. So when this entity name, knowing this entity name all are all required, I will tell you. So if you go to these locals, so these are the list of parameters and list of local variables which we have created. So IT order, we don't have any sorting parameters. That's the reason we don't have anything here. And if there are sorting parameters, we will see property and its order, whether it is an ascending order or whether it is a descending order. And paging, we know this. And IT key tab. So if there are any key fields in the URI, so if we give any key fields in this URI, then all those key fields will be listed down in IT key tab. Okay, so this key tab we will be doing in our next task. So why how this key tab is used inside our implementation. So and IV entity name. So this IV entity name, if you see the entity type name will be coming. So this entity type name. Okay, I'm not in SAGW. Let me go to SAGW. The entity name, don't get confused. Entity name in the gateway implementation as a parameter will be the entity type name. Okay, the entity the source name is again same, and there will be entity set name as well. So if you see here entity set name, so in whatever the situation or whatever the case, if we want to implement some logic, the entity set dependent logic, then we will be using this parameter, unless no. So I will tell you when this is required. And navigation paths, so there is a navigation also from one entity to another entity, and whenever we are doing navigations, so that navigation will come here, that's fine, we will see that. And IV filter string, so if you see this filter string, whatever the filters we give in the URI, they will be prepared as a string as well. So if we want to use this string uh, as a filter string, we can make use of this filter string as well. Okay, and the IT technical request. So I'm coming to that, and IT filter select options. So this is what are the filter we use as a URI operation. All those filter attributes will come in the form of property and its range table for our convenience inside the OData service for data fetching. So these are all the list of input parameters and exporting ET entity set. So this ET entity set is the returning table which we will be filling up the data in our implementation, and we are exporting to the consumer. So this will have the same structure as the entity type structure or entity set, whatever. So entity type is the best one to use for structure. So in the same structure, the data will be filled up. And ES response context. So this response context we will see sometime. So if we want to return any count, how many records are available in the database and etc. So mainly we will use this for count. So the count we will be exporting from here. So and now the one parameter I left is IO technical request context. So take request context. So this is an object, the class object where gateway will have all the information. Let me go ahead and open that one. So IO take request context. So if you see, this is type request to this one. So whatever the parameters we have discussed, we have seen in this particular importing section, the signature section. So there is independent or individual method available in this particular IO tech request to get all the information. So for example, if you see get filter, okay, so this get filter will give us the same IT filter select options table. Okay, so the going forward, there is a uh, an update coming from SAP that so all these input parameters will be made as redundant or obsolete. So this is the only entry point where we should use to get all the importing parameters in the form of methods. So just this parameter is instantiated, and this has been already implemented in V4 OData versions. So there we will not be seeing any of these parameters. V4 code-based implementations, there will be only this context instance will be available, and we will be reading all this information using this instance. So that's the reason if going forward, even if I use these parameters in your practices, just make use of this. I would take context to get all these information towards implementation. So if you see this get filter and go to parameters, the table is same request filter. So do you see that IW, the type, whatever the type it is, what is this one, filter? Yeah, come on, I can't see its type. Let me open another section. The input parameter, technical request, and the filter, filter. Yeah, select option and filters. It will have, come on, get filter select options and select option. The same. Can you see? Yeah, and similarly for yeah, and similarly for order by, get order by. So take order and get order. It will be the take order. So everything will be available here. So if I look for entity, yeah. So get entity set name. If you see here, get entity type name, etc. Get expert. So all each and every method is available in this tech context. So let's make use of this tech context in our practice. Okay, so let me execute this one. I don't know where it is going. Yeah, it has come. And this one, if you want to know more about it, so how we apply the string options or search options or something, so this is the place, is the reference place where we should be looking at actually. So you pick up any couple of operations from this one and try differently after our session today, or pick up the same filter option and input couple of filter properties. So if we want to give multiple filter properties, how we give them multiple filter properties? So filter created by user equal to and this user, that's it, and separated by comma. You put comma and start with your another filter. Okay, created by user, and for example, sold to party. Let's say sold to party. So I'm copying sold to party here and equal to, and what is the value? Uh, sorry, sold to party equal to, come on, and not comma, and sold to party equal to 17. Let me place this value here. Sold to party equal to this one. That's it. Next, ampersand will continue for next parameter and try to execute it. So we have got here, and if you see IT filter select options, we have got two entries in this one. So sold to party is also one of the parameter, and it has the entry in this one. Okay, so now to implement this one, what should we do? We know what needs to be done, so we just have a channel to implement this logic. So we just go ahead and take this sold to party property name from our gateway builder basically to um, not to miss or not to mismatch with the sold to party. And let me create another range table for this. Okay, sold to type range of uh, BU partner, business partner, and same I will be just assigning to the sold to party here. So it's going to be same. Select options. This is going to be same. And now I'll apply that in my where class and sold to party in my this sold to.
So, Changal, if it is a V4,
Yeah.
We can make use of that text request.
Yes. Yes. So that's the interfaces will be a bit different. Don't get into that one at the moment. Those completely there is no graphical or a graphical interface to create V4. So we have to initiate creation itself in code based. Okay, so there is no place like gateway builder to create V4 OData services.
Oh,
Yeah. So now I just activated and now see how it behaves. So let's execute this one and now see something went wrong here because can you guess what could be the issue?
leading zeros.
I
Yes.
think user for that combination there is no requirement.
how can how can no, that's not the leading series is the issue. So let me remove this one. Yes. So there are entries if you see here.
Okay. Okay.
So if you see there are entries and we picked up this sold to party from this one itself. So let me replace it. Yeah. So this leading zeros causing issue. Let me put this one. Okay. So let's see now. So we have the entry here. Yeah. So now it is with uh, multiple filter attributes. So execute it and we see, yeah, two entries and sold to party. Yes. And go ahead, prepare our range tables and come here. So we see our range table here and created user and this one here and created user. Okay, finally we have the result set. One entry. That is what is going back to the consumer. And there is count as well. So let me do the count. And for this, I'm using technical context request to see whether the consumer requesting for count is is has count. Okay, if the consumer requested count. So we should need to return how many records uh, matching to this particular filtering or whatever the selection criteria. So in this case, we can simply get the number of lines in this internal table and we can pass it. Okay. ES response context count equal to lines of this one. So here this will be let me remove this one. Dollar count. It's going to be the dollar count. So let's execute this one. Sorry. No. Sales order set. Yes, inline count as count. So sales order document is 4. Okay. So I don't want to confuse this one. Let me go ahead. So I will save this as a variant for you. So if you look for this OData service, so this will be across the system. So if you look for this OData service and test group, I say sales order test case would be using paging and filter. So multiple filter properties. So this variant has been saved for you. So if you are looking for this one, how you can get on is, so just open service catalog. In this service catalog, you just search for this OData service. Okay, yes, here it is. So just click on this one and launch the gateway client. So it will come along with the OData service. And now here you see the select button here. You go to select and service group. You look for our service group. Sorry, not service group, test group. So in the test group, you look for our sales order test group and click on OK. So you will see this paging and filter. You just click on it. It will come up with all these parameters, whatever we have tested, we have on our URI. So if you are building your own scenarios, just save them as a variant. So one with the top and another one with the filter and another one with only entity set, like that. So we can have the different URIs, and whenever we struck somewhere, at least we can simply go to select and test whether at least one working which we have seen working. Okay, so sorry, so a simple execute will work how it was working, so for you as well. Okay, so now let us go ahead and implement the get entity. So why do we need get entity? Why do we need GetEntity? It's a question. Okay, no answer. So if you see in this response, we have this URI to specifically go to this sales order. So sales order 4. So if we want to, without these filters, we have applied a lot of filters here. So if I remove all these filters, what happens? It returns all the data available on that sales order. So if we have 100 sales orders or 1000 sales orders, they all will be coming here. So if user wants to navigate from this one, or user knows the sales order number, then if he is looking to get the sales order details, so this will be the general use case. So if you have the sales order number handy, if you want to um, get the relevant information of that particular sales order, then we need to implement GetEntity method of our OData service. So this is the URI how we will be uh, putting this in our URI. So just let me copy this one and let's put in instead of GetEntity set. So now we are specifying I don't want entire results, but instead I want only one sales order which is with the number 1. Okay, so in this case, but logically also we are just knowing that okay, there is only one key field in our entity set. So the key field has been inputted, so there will be only one unique entry in the entire list. So that's what we should look at in this point of view. So now let's see what happens. Let me save this as a variant for us. So sales order group, it's not paging. GetEntity, read one sales order with the key. Sales order number. So now let me execute this one. What it says, this is what is expected. So GetEntity has not been implemented yet. That's true. We have not implemented the GetEntity of our OData service. So let me go here. Where is our implementation change? Yeah. So this one, I'm going back and let me go into the change mode of this class, remove the filter and look for the methods. So in these methods, we have implemented GetEntitySet, and this time we are going to implement GetEntity. So let's go ahead and redefine this method. So redefinition and remove this one. Okay, so let's activate this one and now see what happens in terms of GetEntity. So if we have empty implementation, let's see what happens. So if you see now 404 not found because it didn't come up. It didn't come up with the response. ER entity is the one which will treat whether the entity entry exists with that key or not. Now we are specifying, yes, I have the sales order in my handy. I want to know its details. It should be something meaningful. If it found in the system, it has to return with the details. If it does not exist in the system, the same message has to be returned to the consumer. So that's what is happening here. So as there is no implementation, the system, the gateway framework is treating that there is no sales order with that particular one. That's what it is saying, not found. Okay. So now let's go ahead and implement this one, or beforehand, if we want to see what's happening here, how the information we are getting into this particular method once we execute this request, let's go ahead and execute this request and see. As we know, the parameters makes easy for us to get implement the right code. So if you look at these parameters, what are the parameters? You see key tab. So this key tab is very important right now because the the sales order number, whatever we have inputted in this URI, will be a key field. The key tab will be filled up with this number. Okay, do you see this? So this is the main thing which we need to consider at the moment. So we take this key tab and the value, we implement the logic inside this get entity. So at this place we just implement the logic whatever we have implemented in our get entity set, but instead we will implement the respective where class where it returns only one entry. Okay, so let me go ahead and do the implementation. So in this case, we have the key fields. So let's go ahead and implement it. So we don't want this paging anymore, and into corresponding fields for not a table, it's ER data, entity, where the sales document, sales order, sales order, it's a straightforward equal to LV sales order. So now what we need to do is we just need to uh, read the sales order from IT key tab. So in this IT key tab, again, here we can put a straightforward statement check IT key tab is not initial. Okay, so I think data LV order number equal to value of don't know where I think it is VBALN something VBALN I guess, yeah, VBALN underscore VA. So let's take this one and IT key tab, IT key tab of property, I think name equal to what is the field name here? Nope. Sales document number, I think. Yeah, sales document number. So this is the key field. Let's take this key field and get the value of that particular one and put the value of it into this one. So order number sales order equal to sales order. That's it. Done. One. Before and method, what is this? Okay, single select single stop from this one, and yeah, that's okay, fine. So now we are selecting only single entry, and now go ahead and see what happens. So we have got the entry into IT key tab and sales order number. If you see, we have got one. Again, we need to add leading zeros. I think this time it's not gonna return any entries. Its size of us is 4. So done. Okay, again not found. So in this case, what we do, mm, no, I don't think it will accept. Let me see.
Hello, Chingal.
Yeah.
Yeah, after value, just the hash is fine. You are missing type.
So this type.
Totally same, right?
So yeah, but in this case, if you see the data type here, it's not going to be the VBELN type. It's a string type. Okay. So this makes difference. So we need to explicitly mention this type.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not going to work for me. I need to take another step. Okay, that's fine. No problem. Let me try another way. Um, yep, it's fine now, I think. So order number, that's perfect. So this time 0, and it's going to give us 200 response. Okay, so this is what the GetEntity implementation. So as a recap, so now we have seen how to look at the types of HTTP protocol implementation, whatever the HTTP methods available. We can look them in the service implementation for each entity set created under our gateway project in the form of create, delete, get entity set, and update. And for these ones, we can even see the respective methods uh, in their DPC ext class, where they can be implemented with the right business logic. So uh, we can even see here, if we are working on any existing application, we can see what method has been implemented and what method has not been implemented. So whatever the method has been implemented, they will just display with the hyperlink here, if you clearly see it. And whatever the method was not implemented, they just keep plain in here. So if you click on this method, it will directly take you into the right implementation place from there itself. Okay, otherwise you can navigate through the runtime artifacts. You can come to runtime artifacts and find out the DPC ext class, and you can straight away pick the DPC ext class, and you can open it in your SE24, or you can straight away double click on this and you will be taken into the class builder, and you can apply filter and it will show you what are the methods implemented on this particular OData service. And similarly, in the gateway, we have all the HTTP protocols, whatever are applicable for in terms of OData operations, CRUD queue operations. So they all can be applied from here. Okay. So now we have seen get protocol for both get entity and get entity set, along with few of the URI operations, URI options, such as filter, uh, top, and get entity point of view, um, sales order, fetching say single sales order. So I would like to stop here for today. So we will pick up rest of the stuff uh, tomorrow.